we were talking about the paper towel and toilet paper warehouse that got burned down. The guy that videoed himself lighting it on fire, saying all you had to do was pay us enough to live. And I said that that's not the way you get change. It was the way you got change 250 years ago. It's not the way you get change in a modern world, right? And this person here says, you have to start somewhere. People are tired of talking with no action. People are just fed up with corporate America working 40 plus hours a week and not being able to afford to live in this country. I agree with all of that. I agree with all of that. That people are fed up, that talking doesn't do it, and that people need some change so that they can afford to live if they're working a full-time job here. What change is going to be enacted because of this? Zero. We got to stop burning warehouses down, and we got to stop talking, and we need to start voting. If you want change, that's how you get it. You vote. You want to start somewhere? You start at the ballot box. Here, as a matter of fact, let's bring it all the way back. You want to start somewhere? We start it in your local community. You find quality candidates to run for your school board, your township board, your village board, your county board. You start finding quality candidates at that level. And you get these candidates to work their way up into state senators and state representatives and eventually senators and representatives and governors and maybe even a president. You vote. You don't light warehouses on fire. I don't give a shit if 1,000 people went out and lit 1,000 warehouses on fire today. If we had 1,000 copycats today, it wouldn't change a goddamn thing. None of these companies are just going to voluntarily start paying a higher wage. None of them. Legislation is not going to be passed because this warehouse got burned down. As a matter of fact, if anything is going to happen, that company is going to rebuild that warehouse fully automated, and everybody that did have a job in that company is going to be out of a job permanently, full-time, rather than just until they get the warehouse rebuilt. So if you want to start somewhere by enacting change in this country, you do it at the ballot box. You do it with the power of your vote. And that doesn't mean sitting out elections. It doesn't mean protest voting. It doesn't mean writing in somebody who doesn't have a chance. It doesn't mean voting for a party that isn't ever going to win an election because they've never won one. It unfortunately means that you have to vote for one of the two people who have a chance to win, the Republican candidate or the Democratic candidate. And sometimes that Democratic candidate is not going to be in line with you 100% of the time. But if they're in line with you 80% of the time, or 90% of the time, or even 75% of the time, it's better than allowing a fascist to get into office and continue to fight against things like livable wages, right? California, New York, Illinois, blue states are pushing minimum wage up. They're trying to make it so that people can have a livable wage. We need it done at the federal level. Lighting warehouses on fire isn't going to do it.